Hey everyone, Chris Sawyer back again. Welcome back to the Varietal Show. I am sitting right here with this amazing bottle of Epoch Grenache. It is epic in that way, but this is spelled E-P-O-C-H. Epic, and this is the great Jordan Fiorentini, the winemaker, and here we are. I have to always speak with an Italian accent when we're out in Jordan. But she is from Georgia, actually. That's her husband. That's from.
Yeah,
don't worry about that.
I adopted the last name.
So we're sitting here, and why we wanted to film up here tonight is because we are on an amazing mountaintop, and this is York Mountain. This is a very famous area here for growing grapes in Paso Robles. It goes back to the whole old, we're talking the missionaries when they came up here and looked for places to plant grapes. This is one of those places. And this is where your vineyard is. This is the top of one of the amazing blocks of your vineyard. Tell everyone a little bit about this.
So we're standing on the top of York Mountain. We're about 1,700 feet. And this vineyard was planted in the late 1800s, but went fallow due to deer damage. They didn't deer fence way back when. And so we came back in 2015 and planted this vineyard again. But York Mountain is its own AVA. So wines that are grown here have the York Mountain AVA on the back label. I just say York Mountain.
Just
so
York Mountain.
This is York Mountain Vineyard.
York Mountain, yeah.
We're in York Mountain Vineyard, York Mountain. So
yeah.
We have.
But we're in Paso. Don't forget that. We're in Paso.
But we're not in the Paso Robles AVA.
But we're not in the Paso Robles AVA. We are in the York Mountain AVA.
Exactly.
But that's why you come here, is to learn these things. Exactly. So behind us, you can see kind of back there, I'll kind of point to it as far as I can see on the lens right here. That is actually the winemaking facility and caves. It's really awesome. It's just across the road from us here. And actually the winery itself is down that way, about a half a mile once you hit York Mountain Road. And it's just so amazing up here. And I think the most important thing to start with is this soil. This soil is so crazy. Tell everyone about that.
Yeah, so we have sandstone soils here, which is really different than our other two properties, which are all limestone, calcareous, and shale. So this is really has a much lower pH. Instead of a pH of 8 something, we're at 5 something here, and lots of sand, lots of heavy sedimentary rock. So totally different. Yeah. And then we're super close to the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, so we have much, much cooler weather. It's very coastal here, and for that reason, we are growing Rhone variety grapes to show the differences and the beauty of such a interesting terroir.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's amazing. Here we are tasting the Grenache, so let's have a little sip here.
Sorry guys, my dog is right below us. You can't see him.
We got the dog and then actually the workers out there, but we actually can't.
Cheers.
We actually need to grow these grapes, so that's the reason that they're in the background.
And this is so, Chris is holding our Grenache, but we also have a Syrah grown on this property. We just released these wines in 2021, and they were from 2018. So it was our first
the other
vintage.
thing too is this is a black label, so if you guys know the amazing Epoch labels, they're beautiful, wonderful wines, very artistic, and this one just is more about a sense of place. I mean, we're really right here looking down. Very special. How high up are we? 1,700 feet?
1,700 feet, and then the label shows the limestone soil. And so yeah, our main varieties here are Syrah, Grenache, and Viognier. So it's really fun to compare and contrast the two different terroirs that we have at Epoch.
Yeah. We were just talking on the phone. I happened to totally photobomb. The Rhone Rangers are doing a presentation this week with you in it. The Rhone Rangers is a great organization that really supports everyone that really does a great job with makes world-class Rhone variety wines. That's the varieties like Syrah and Grenache for the reds and Mourvedre. But then we also go into Viognier, Roussanne, Marsanne, Picpoul, Blanc, all sorts of things for the whites. But this is just a special site because it's got its own personality, and I think that you really capture it in here. And the other thing is, it's, you know, you can compare Grenache to Pinot Noir, and in some ways it's right, because it's about not full body. It's not like a chewy tannic Cabernet. but it does have a lot of structure to it when it's done right, and this definitely has that structure. So fantastic stuff.
Thank you. It's got all the spice. What I like to tell people is that the Grenache from York Mountain almost has more power than what you're used to from West Paso, but the Syrah is more mid-palate, a little bit lighter, more ephemeral. So it's kind of like a reversal of roles, if you will.
Exactly, and once again, this is not fake in back of us, you guys. Even though you might think it is, it's not fake.
Superimpose our Zoom
background. Not fake, not fake at all.
We're gonna watch the sunset.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my dog is.
We're gonna get a bite to eat up here afterwards and have some fun. But the fact is, you came here. You're in love with this area. What are some of the lessons you've learned from this vineyard? You know, just in being like your job as a winemaker is one thing, but you're also kind of a viticulturalist, and you have to kind of pick out what goes in these areas and help the team make those decisions. What have you learned about this little nook up here?
So I've learned that it's extremely different than the rest of Paso. It actually, I mean, we always try to dry farm on other areas, but here we wanted to, but it's a necessity. So we have a lot of rainwater, rainfall during the year normally. In the rainy season, but not a lot of groundwater that we can pump out.
Right.
So the vines just have to survive. Yeah. So they go from having a deluge of rain to no rain, but it's also a lot cooler, and there's a lot more mildew pressure here because we're constantly in that moderate temperature. And then that with the lower pH, I mean, you deal with just a world of difference in terms of the nutrients that the vines need, that they need to get from the soil, and how they present their issues. It's like a totally different place.
Yeah, and the other thing too, I would say, is if we were to look directly this way, that is basically looking right at the ocean. I mean, we're about probably 10 miles from the ocean, but I think that the marker, if you come out 46 West, which is where you've got Niner and Peachy Canyon and all these great little producers out here, but once you get to the peak of it and then you start going down, that's basically York Mountain Ridge. And then it kind of just, after that, you're going downwards towards the ocean. So it's a long kind of road. I drove it last night. It's about 20 minutes to get to Highway 1 out there, but it's actually awesome.
It's stunning. You see more rock, you see all the Pacific. It's just... Yeah.
It's great. There's so many things to investigate here, but I think that when you come here to this property, and even the tasting room. Now tell everyone a little bit about the tasting room itself, because it's just down behind us, just there. It has a little bit of history too, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the York family, they settled here and they built a winery and plant vineyards and orchards, and so the winery is the historic building that they built back in the late 1880s. We have remodeled it, resurrected it. It was condemned during the 2003 San Simeon earthquake, and now it lives again. So you can come and taste our wines in the beautiful old winery, and then the new winery is what's like right behind us right there. You see the roof.
Yeah, and definitely that's another good San Simeon earthquake, but there's also San Simeon Hearst Castle. If you've never been there, it is really one of the greatest places to visit on the face of the planet. I remember when I was a kid going there the first time, and I think the last time I was there was with Sunset Magazine, and we did an amazing 1,000-person party there.
In the pool?
Right, there was a jazz band playing on the pool.
Oh my God.
It was the most amazing thing ever. And it's just crazy. There's something about the Hearst family that saw this area as being, they were visionaries. They really knew what they were looking at, and this is really one of the most beautiful places you'll ever come to. And I think that, when you drive on the freeway and you pass Paso, you see where it is, and you might stop at a few places, but you really have to investigate, and that's why York Mountain is such an interesting place here. And I mean, you can see it kind of looks like Napa and Sonoma counties, especially those higher areas where you kind of got these meadows in the woods, and in many ways it really is, and it's high elevation. But I think that this soil really is different. This is very, very sandy, dusty soil. It's very, very fine. It's not like the sandy soils of Lodi, as we were comparing a little bit ago, where it looks like you got sand in your shoes because you were on the beach too long and you're dumping that out. Whereas this one, it's just actually it's barely even, like, it's just lint.
It's like moon dust
right now.
But if you dig down a little bit, you'll find these huge boulders where the dust actually just got displaced by the dog right here.
Yeah.
But you can see it floating in the air. But if when Chris came last night, it was totally socked in with fog. So every day is different on York Mountain.
Yeah, it's great. This is the Syrah. Syrah is a big deal here. You love Syrah. I love Syrah. Okay, Syrah.
Look at him. He's right there. Oh, hi. He wanted to say hi to you guys.
Hi, guys. You'll also, if you look at some of the videos I have on Facebook and Instagram with her, there's the great sheep and goat contingency too. That's
animals.
Right over there. And it's super fun to watch those guys go at it. And they're all kind of super small. They're not like big ones. They're all kind of like little minis, you know?
Yeah, they seem mini. They thought we were feeding them, and they are loud.
We didn't.
They are super loud. So the animals run wild on York Mountain, but we try to tame the vines.
Yeah, yeah. Where the wild things grow. That's here. You ever read that book? Good one. Good one. Yeah. So Syrah has been really good. How would you say this versus your other great property down in Willow Creek? How would you put them against each other? Like not against each other, but what makes them separate from one another as far as the flavor profile of this wine versus what you do with Willow Creek?
There's tons of spice in this Syrah, and it has like sort of that really more delicate character that you get from the cooler climates of Syrah. And then the Willow Creek Syrah, the Paderewski Syrah, has definitely got more power, more muscle, more extract. So they're just really fun to compare and contrast. It's kind of like you can see the beauty that you can get out of Syrah in different climates and different soils.
Yeah, and I think that the other thing too is just that we are in the cooler climate area here. I mean, this is very interesting, and Syrah is one of those few grapes that can grow in hot and cool climate conditions. Like we could put this Syrah, we could plant this Syrah on the other side of the freeway, which is we call the east side over there, and there's a lot of sub-appellations over there too. But the fact is, it just happens to perform, and it's a little bit different here. And what I tend to get out of it is a little bit more blue fruit characteristics. You know, definitely that blueberry, almost cassis-like character versus the kind of more muscular, seasoned meats kind of effect over there that you can really get as a starting point. And then obviously the great flavor profile opens up quite a bit as it develops in the glass. And that's the whole point. I mean, these are world-class wines, and that's what a world-class wine is, and how it separates itself from those old 1.5 liter bottles you used to get in your youth, if you did, that just are the same. If not, they start turning to vinegar fairly rapidly. This is the exact opposite. These start getting more interesting as they open up.
I call it when they lose their baby fat.
Baby fat, exactly. So great little tour here, and you guys got to come right here to York Mountain with us, and I appreciate it. And thanks for joining us for the Varietal Show once again. We will explore more, you and I. We got more wines to explore. We've got more little sites to explore, and I hope you'll keep exploring me and this great show and what Jordan is doing here at Epoch Winery. So this is just amazing. This is the Epoch Estate Wines series, and this is the black labels. Enjoy these. They're so good. Cheers!
Cheers! Thank you, guys.